Coming up on this edition of Bearkat Student Media News, we learn how advancements in DNA technology may help solve a 17-year-old cold case that took place on Sam Houston's campus. Also, needing an outfit for an upcoming interview or event? We'll tell you where you can go if you need to dress for success.
Live from the Dan Rather Communications Building on the campus of Sam Houston State University, this is Channel 7 News.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm PJ Huessner. Welcome to Bearkat Student Media News. A newborn baby found dead in a university dumpster 17 years ago may be close to being identified. According to KTR-TV in Houston, new DNA technology may identify baby doe, found wrapped in a sheet and trash bag in a dumpster behind Sam Houston Village in 2005. A company named Othram in the Woodlands claims they can identify hundreds of thousands of markers from DNA sample when normal DNA blood samples produce about 20. They say they are working with a genealogist and have an extensive database of potential relatives, but many are distant and say there is still a lot of work to do to track down the mother. And the Bearcat Bundle has been a hot topic for students at SAM ever since it was introduced. Bearcat Student Media's Evan Williams talked to students and staff from the program and if it's right for everyone on campus.
In spring of 2021, SHSU created a program called the Bearcat Bundle.
It is an attempt by the school to make getting your textbooks easy.
It's a program put together by the university that allows students to rent textbooks at what is theoretically a lower price. It charges them at a flat rate per credit hour instead of by the book.
But after 1 year of using the book rental program, students are hesitant to call it a success.
It is not worth it if your teacher does not use the textbook. And I think it is useful for first-time students that don't understand or really know what they need.
I can see where it ideally would work in certain circumstances. But as it's being marketed as like a, kind of a fits everybody kind of thing, I don't think it's fulfilling that goal.
Christy Vian is the Assistant Vice President of Auxiliary Services and Student Financial Services. She gives us some insight on the university's book rental program.
So when I first came over to Auxiliary Services, one of my first challenges, or one of the first things that I asked to work on, was the cost of textbooks. And so in doing that, for the last 10 years, I had been on the other side working with students to combat how they save money, and we've heard about that in conversations, right? Textbooks are expensive. So I knew that I wanted to address that. And so when we started looking at the program, we were trying to find something that would help the majority of our students save money on textbooks.
So the question is, has the Bearcat Bundle helped students save money on textbooks?
I ended up opted into it because when I went to the bookstore's website to try and order my textbooks, I could not see what my textbooks were without going through the Bearcat Bundle. It ended up being that I only had 1 or 2 actual textbooks that semester. And so I got charged a higher rate than I would have if I had just gone and rented the textbooks.
So the way it would work is we would want the students to be able to go out there and say, like, what is the cost differential, right? If I've got one book that's a $200 book for a certain discipline, even if another book only has a $20 book, right, from averaging standpoint, the program is still better. But that is where we want students to be informed. But I'm also not content with $23.75. We are actively working to try to continue to reduce that price so we can continue to make sure that that price point is reasonable.
History professor Jeff Littlejohn gives his opinion on the controversial issue.
I think it's an economic response by the companies to raise money, yes. Because look, here's the way Bearcat Bundle works. It's $23.75 a credit hour. Here's the big number, okay? And I did this, on my cell phone because I'm not a mathematician. But if we take $23.75, okay, and we multiply that, to get a degree at SAM, you got to take 120 hours. You're paying $2,850 to rent textbooks, none of which you own.
One of the most common complaints is that the university automatically opts its students into the program.
They've done a good job lately of making the opt-out process more transparent. I personally think it should be opt-out by default.
If on the first day of class 5,000 students opted in, we wouldn't necessarily have those textbooks sitting there, right? We have to be able to buy in large quantities in order to get the price. And to do that, we are literally ordering books now for summer and fall. If we let students opt in, we couldn't automatically guarantee we could get those books in time or at the price point. So number one question we get, I understand why it comes up, but I also want to make sure students are educated as to why the model is built the way it is.
It's very frustrating to me to see our students forcibly opted in and then required to opt out every semester. You can't do it once, you have to do it every semester. You miss the deadline. Students are working. They're taking classes. They're dealing with family issues. They own cars. They've got to get parking permits. There's a lot going on.
Evan Williams, Bearcat Student Media.
A heartfelt display on campus sends out a message on the importance of this month. Bearcat Student Media's Anna De Leon has the story.
Sam Houston State University is recognizing Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Blue ribbons surround campus representing those who are victims of sexual assault, as well as a shoe display offering empty reminders of sexual violence. Shoes of all sizes are spread out in front of the Lowman Student Center with quotes highlighting different sexual assault stories.
It's important that we just make our students aware of who they surround themselves with, and just to stay safe. As long as you're aware, hopefully you will be able to put yourself in that situation. So that's what I think the importance is. And like I said, it can happen to anybody, if all ages, male, female, anybody can be a victim of sexual assault.
And overall, I just think spreading awareness for Sexual Assault Awareness Month is important to make sure that we have kind of a supporting and welcoming environment for anyone who has experienced sexual assault or know anyone who has. That way they make sure their voices are heard and we're honoring what they've been through and kind of the feelings that they have towards it.
The goal of Sexual Assault Awareness Month is to raise public awareness about sexual violence, educate communities on how to prevent it, and bolster prevention efforts throughout the year. If you're a victim of sexual assault or know someone who is, you can call the National Sexual Assault Hotline 24 hours a day at 1-800-656-4673. On the campus of Sam Houston State, Anna De Leon, Bearcat Student Media.
Graduation is right around the corner for many SHSU students, and soon they'll be searching for jobs and preparing for interviews. Or they just want to look good for their graduation pictures with friends and family to celebrate this big milestone in their lives. Our Bearcat Student Media's Eric Cater tells us where students can find the apparel they're looking for.
For students like myself, finding the right outfit for events such as graduation and other special occasions can be difficult, especially on a budget. Look no further than Tripod Thrift Store. Located on the campus of SHSU, they offer many items and services for students, such as clothing, necessities, and more. Director of Auxiliary Operations, Michelle Mitchell, tells us more about what Tripod offers.
So the goal, mission, and kind of the inspiration was really to provide a way to fill gaps for students. The thrift store, the idea behind that was to help with other types of maybe financial insecurities that students might have, and just everyday necessities and things like shampoo and deodorant and personal hygiene items and things like that.
So has there been a student experience that stood out since Tripod first opened?
One young man comes in to mind, and he was in looking for a suit because he needed to attend a family funeral. And so, we were really felt blessed that we were able to help him during a difficult time.
The thrift store also offers opportunities to work with their team and help make a difference in Bearcat lives. From the Tripod store on the campus of SHSU, I'm Eric Cater, Bearcat Student Media.
The measure of life is its service. That's Sam Houston State University's motto, which many faculty, staff, and students and organizations on campus live by. Some of those members were awarded at the 28th Annual Sammys Awards. Bearcat Student Media's Callie Camacho has more.
The Sammys consists of 8 individual college awards, 18 individual and organizational awards, the Sam Houston Cane Award, and 4 Sammy Awards. This ceremony is held at the Performing Arts Center and recognizes those who have exemplified the university's motto, "The measure of a life is its service."
So I was nominated for the Excellence in Service Award for the College of Education. It's the service that I've done is essentially what I would have liked to have whenever I was a transfer student.
The John A. Patrick Outstanding Diversity Organization Award was presented by two members of the Patrick's family, who was the first Black student admitted to SHSU. Home to the oldest jazz festival in Texas, the SHSU Jazz Ensemble performed during the ceremony, as well as performances from the Department of Theater, which many students looked forward to.
The dance performance is what I'm most excited about.
The prestigious Sammy Award was presented to 2 faculty or staff members and 2 senior or graduate level students who have shown outstanding involvement and are nominated by the university community at large. At the end of the awards, Vice President for Student Affairs Frank Parker received a standing ovation as he accepted the Frank E. Parker Outstanding Leadership Award, which is now going to be awarded at the Sammys from now on. On the campus of Sam Houston State University, I'm Kaylee Camacho, Bearkat Student Media.
Seniors, have you bought your cap and gown yet? Graduation is just around the corner, and if you haven't ordered your cap and gown yet, they are now available to buy at the bookstore. The cap, gown, and tassel can be purchased for $75, and an orange stole can be purchased for $35. Diploma frames are also available for purchase, as well as SHSU alumni stickers, coffee mugs, and t-shirts.
I think it's really nice for it to be available here at the bookstore, because especially if there's someone who probably has bad internet or just no internet access back at their own house, they're able to come here and be able to physically get it, which make it easier and more accessible to anyone here.
All your graduation supplies will be available at the bookstore until stock runs out, and they have gowns available for all heights. For more information, check out the bookstore located in the LSC. And coming up, ever wanted to hit the airwaves? Find out how you could possibly host your own radio show.
This could be any town in Texas. Friendly folk. Everyone knows everyone, including our doctor, when we have one. Out here, it's an hour drive just for a checkup. They say we're facing a shortage of doctors, and that's one thing our state can't afford. We're so deeply bound to our rural roots, it's hard to comprehend. That's why Sam Houston State University created its College of Osteopathic Medicine to meet the healthcare needs of our rural communities and all who call Texas home. Better healthcare in our small towns is better for everyone. A new generation of physicians for Texans from a medical school that understands our Texas roots. Sam Houston State University, a great name in medicine.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
The proud son of hardworking immigrant parents, Eric Rodas chose to serve his country. A father, a soldier, and now a college graduate. He proved that circumstances have nothing to do with your outcome. Since 1879, we've been helping students like Eric determine their future. Sam Houston State University, a great name in education.
Greece is the birthplace of the Olympics, so it's fitting Greek life on campus holds its own version of the games. Bearcat Student Media's Maya Caleb caught up with the athletes and has more.
Every year, the Sam Houston State Greek Life Office holds their Greek Week for the 4 counselors to participate in. Each day is a chance for members of different fraternities and sororities to interact and socialize when they don't often get to around campus. But what better way to end the week off than with a little competition?
This event, the Greek Olympics, marks the end of the annual Greek Week hosted by the SHSU Greek Life Office, the Multicultural Greek Council, the Interfraternity Council, the Panhellenic Association, and the National Panhellenic Council all come together to compete in various games and ultimately win the trophy for their respective teams.
Some of the activities at the Greek Olympics included cornhole, an obstacle course, a hot wing contest, and a relay race. Members of SHSU Greek Life cheered their brothers and sisters on in hopes of their team being the winner of this year's event and to get a spot on the trophy. Greek Life's Dr. Mark Taplett has more on what the Greek Olympics are all about.
Today's event was our Greek Olympics. It's kind of a compilation of our Greek Week activities, and it's the activities that we try to get everybody involved. Matter of fact, the whole Greek Week is designed to get all the different Greeks all together at one time and try to do one kind of a whole kind of function together.
After a fun and competitive day in the sun, Team Hermes was announced the overall winner of Greek Week and took home the trophy in celebration. Reporting from Intramural Field 1, Maya Caleb, Channel 7 News.
Join the International Student Organization in celebrating International Week 2022. From April 18th through the 22nd, events will be available to you every day, such as participating in the scavenger hunt challenges, viewing the international flag display, international dishes served each day at Old Main, and checking out the Instagram takeovers at the official SHSU ISO. The event is sponsored by the International Student Organization. And spring is here, and with it comes the beauty of the Piney Woods wildflower season. Bearcat Student Media's Justin Hardcastle has more.
All around the Piney Woods, spring has sprung and wildflower blooming season is in full swing. Along freeways, in open fields, and around the forests, these uniquely Texan floras brighten up the scenery all around the Huntsville area. Anyone wanting to appreciate the beauty can find some of the area blooms, which include the bluebonnet, the large buttercup, the four-nerve daisy, antelope horns, and the pink evening primrose. Bluebonnets are the official state flower and have an entire festival dedicated to them in Burnett, Texas in April. Contrary to popular belief, it is actually completely legal to pick them. The large buttercup and four-nerve daisy can be found in the largest quantities along I-45 just north of Huntsville and give the highway a lot of color. The pink evening primrose is one of the most resilient and drought-proof of the flora and often break up the clusters of yellow found along the highways.
We talked to some Bearcats around campus to see what their thoughts on the wildflowers were.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they're beautiful. It's a joy just driving down, just viewing them.
I think they look great. I love all the yellow daisy type flowers. Yeah. It's I think it's a Texas starflower or something like that. That's my favorite. I've been here a couple years, but this year in particular, they've really came out in abundance.
If you want to catch these wildflowers in bloom around the area, the blooming season usually ends at around the end of April, so time is running out to appreciate these unique Texas treasures. In Huntsville, Justin Hardcastle, Bearcat Student Media.
Ever wonder what it would be like to be on your radio or host your own radio show? Just look to the courtyard and you might fulfill that dream. Students from the Mass Communications Department have taken the time to set up in front of the LSC yard every Thursday to talk about a few topics and push the radio station 90.5 KSHU, as some of topics include Countdown to Summer.
So really this came about when, so we're part of the remotes team for the radio station, and we were trying to find more remote broadcasts to do, and we decided it'd be fun if we could do a weekly spot out in the yard just to get ourselves exposed to the students and so the students can involve with us. But because it took us so long to finally start up weekly remotes, we're now doing Countdown to Summer because it's just right around the corner.
You can catch the radio station on 90.5 FM or on their university's website by just typing Sam Houston Radio Station. And still ahead, have you been walking around campus and noticed the water fountain dried up? Don't worry, Mother Nature has a plan.
And it's going to be in the high 80s with some clouds in the sky tomorrow. I'm forecaster Justin Hardcastle, and we'll have your full weather picture right after the break.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all. If I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Three, two, one.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
As a boy, Lorenzo Baez's playground was the streets. When his grandfather suffered a heart attack, one nurse's act of kindness changed his life. Today, he is the first in his family to graduate college, and he's not done yet. He's on his way to becoming a doctor. Since 1879, we've been helping students like Lorenzo defy the odds. Sam Houston State University, a great name in education.
Good afternoon, Huntsville and Sam Houston State University students. I'm Justin Hardcastle with your local forecast. It's currently 82 degrees in Huntsville with cloudy skies throughout the day. The humidity is at 58%, winds southbound at 16 miles an hour with the feels like temperature at 84 degrees. Around the region, Centerville is at 82 degrees, Groveton is now at 81 degrees, Livingston checks in at 81 as well, College Station a bit warmer at 84 with some extra wind, Conroe at 81, and finally Hardin is 80 with some decent cloud cover. Across the state in El Paso, it's a warm 90 degrees with the sun out, Lubbock's at 92, while Dallas checks in at 85 degrees, and lastly Brownsville sitting at 84 with a little bit of cloud cover. For around the nation, it's 59 degrees in New York, 51 degrees in Chicago, a warmer 79 down in Miami. Denver is at 73 degrees, and in LA, it's a nice 69 degrees outside. For tomorrow, we expect a high of 87 degrees in Huntsville. Sunrise is at 6:48 a.m. and expect it to be a mildly cloudy day with winds from the south-southeast at around 13 miles per hour. Humidity will be at 65%. The 5-day forecast for Huntsville: tomorrow the high is 87 degrees with a low of 69. Friday has a high of 86 with a low of 68. Saturday a high of 86. Sunday is looking like 88, but be on the lookout for some thunderstorms later on into the night, carrying over into Monday morning with a low of 80, with a high of 80 and a low of 61, along with a 68% chance of rain. And that's it from the Bearkat Student Media Weather Center. I'm Justin Hardcastle, and you have a great rest of your week.
When it comes to the campus fountain, Mother Nature said she's had enough. Since being repainted a week ago, the fountain in front of the Dan Rather Communications building hasn't run yet. That's where Mother Nature stepped in last Wednesday to give us this stunning sight on the steps in front of the Academic Building 4. Faculty, staff, and students were amazed to see the deluge of water cascading down the stairs, some even braving the tide. The rain would continue to pour on and off again that day, eventually making way for some much-welcomed sunshine in the afternoon. And attention art enthusiasts, there's a new exhibit here on campus. As of April 5th, the Katie and E. Don Walker Senior Education Center is exhibiting Lee Jamison's Ode to East Texas, Hidden in Plain View. In 2017, Jamison, a Huntsville native, believed East Texas was not being represented in art galleries and collections. So he decided to travel across this part of the state and sketch the lands. The paintings featured here are part of what he saw in his travels. In the gallery, they feature many displays in front of the pieces to see the areas he visited in Texas. The exhibit will be here until May 28th.
Rough weekend for the Bearcat softball team as they traveled to Waco to face the Baylor Bears in a 2-game series. I'm Bearcat Student Media sportscaster Hannah Whittington, and I'll have all your action on the diamond coming up after the break.
Bearcats know how to tackle big challenges, as the ongoing pandemic has shown us. The campus community has gone to great lengths to slow the spread of COVID-19, but we're not there yet. Our best shot for returning to normal is getting Bearcats vaccinated. The vaccine is safe and effective for protecting people from COVID-19. For me, for you, for Bearcats, let's get back to normal.
The proud son of hardworking immigrant parents, Eric Rodas chose to serve his country. A father, a soldier, and now a college graduate. He proved that circumstances have nothing to do with your outcome. Since 1879, we've been helping students like Eric determine their future. Sam Houston State University, a great name in education.
Schmidt in the gun, stands on the 15. Schmidt looking over center, it's caught! It's a touchdown! It's a touchdown!
Bearcats know how to get things done, as the ongoing pandemic has shown us. The campus community has gone to great lengths to stop the spread of COVID-19. But we're not done yet. Our best shot for returning back to normal is getting more Bearcats vaccinated. The vaccine is safe and effective in stopping the spread of COVID-19. For me, for you, for Bearcats, let's return back to normal.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hannah Whittington with your Bearcat Student Media Sports. This weekend, the Bearcat baseball team got a much-needed couple of rest days. However, the Bearcat women's softball team traveled to Waco for a tough 2-game series against the Baylor Bears. Game 1 kicked off with a single to right field by Baylor's Josie Bauer bringing in a run. The Bears took an early lead. In the bottom of the third, Emily Hott hit a shot to the left field, bringing in 2 more runs. Then, shortly after, Josie Bauer hit a pop fly to shallow right center, bringing across 2 more runs. Later in the inning, Campbell Selman hit a deep fly to left field, bringing in yet another 2 runs. The Lady Bearcats fell 7-0 in the first game. In Game 2, the Lady Bearcats were hoping for a much better start. However, the game kicked off with deep fly to right field by Casey West. That brought in 3 runners. However, Bearcat third baseman Aaliyah Habel was able to make the tag out at third base to stop the bleeding. The Bearcats would respond by putting a single run. However, it was not enough to overcome the Bears as they took Game 2 by a score of 3-1. A lot of excitement on the field and on the court in the coming weeks. I'm Hannah Whittington, and that's a wrap on sports.
Local Huntsville fraternity Sigma Chi put on its annual Derby Days competition this past week. Derby Days is a week-long competition founded more than 100 years ago and is now an event that every Sigma Chi chapter in the country participates in. This competition is between 4 SHSU sororities to raise money for the fraternity's charity, the Huntsman Cancer Foundation. The events consist of a volleyball tournament, family feud, flag football, penny wars, a social media contest, and ending the week off with a dance-off. Over this past week, the Huntsville chapter ultimately raised more than $6,000 for cancer research. And that'll do it for us this week at Bearcat Student Media News. I'm PJ Huessner. We'll see you back here next week.